All you want to do is let the words fall onto the page or onto the document that you're typing onto. You can read the words when the stream has stopped. So let's say you get 3 paragraphs. The trick is just keep writing, keep writing. Don't stop and listen. Don't stop and reflect. Keep writing. When it feels like it's complete, then sit back and read what you have written. So I always encourage people to sit quietly for a minute, or get yourself comfortable. Sit quietly with a pen and paper, or with a sheet of a document on your tablet, your screen, if you prefer typing, and ask yourself a question. So, for example, the question might be, I always say a good question to start with is, soul, how am I doing today? So you direct the question to your soul or your higher self. Some people might prefer the terminology God. Some people might prefer to say guides, how am I doing? But you just ask a general opening question to see, how am I doing? And the question invites an answer. And that's how a lot of channeling works. I think people forget that channeling is a very participatory act. Unless you are a trance channel, and there are less of those these days because we are more capable of interacting with this level of consciousness from where we stand today. Whereas if you go back in time, this is what my guides have said, trance channeling was a bit more necessary to move people out of their regular dense frequency to a higher frequency, which is channeling. These days, we're getting a little more acclimatized to it. So back to the question. You ask your question and then sit and see if you receive any words. And don't worry if you think you're making it up. Try not to judge the words as you hear them or receive them. Just write them down and think of yourself as a receptionist or a telephonist who is taking notes and dictation. All you want to do is let the words fall onto the page or onto the document that you're typing onto. You can read the words when the stream has stopped. So let's say you get 3 paragraphs. The trick is just keep writing, keep writing. Don't stop and listen. Don't stop and reflect. Keep writing. When it feels like it's complete, then sit back and read what you have written. So it's a twofold process. We're listening to receive, and then we are reflecting on what we have received. And that's very powerful for us. It starts to transform us inside to read words that have come to us through us that are higher guidance. So to boil that down even more simply, I guess, I always say that we can all be a wise voice for a friend or a loved one in our life. We can bypass ourselves. We can look at their situation and we can go, let me see if this piece of advice can help you, or maybe you just need someone to empathize with you, or whatever it is. We have that within us for ourselves too. We just haven't all been encouraged to tap into it. And I do think that we and future generations, this will just become more normal. I don't think people will be so separate from their own connection to whatever they experience spirit as.
One of the things I read in conversations with Z's that got my attention was that it's powerful for us to actually ask our guides, higher dimensions, for help, particularly at this time, that there are a lot of energies, intelligences that want to help human beings for all kinds of reasons in terms of what's happening in our collective evolution. But there's this requirement that we ask, that we say, hey, I need your help. And I wonder if you can say more about this, because this is something, people are always like, what can I do? The world seems like such a mess. And this may be outside of some people's frame, but it might be worth a try.
Yeah. And I think for those people who are feeling empathic pain about the world, creating a blessing for the world or a prayer for the world, lighting a candle for the world, being intentional for the world can be a way of taking that energy of despair and focusing and inviting something healing and peaceful for the world at large. But it will also be good for you and your energy field, not to bypass your pain because you need to feel it, And if you're having pain or you're having a release, you need to let it move through you, but you don't want to get stuck there. So just to your point, that's the person who's feeling that about the world at large. But yeah, they have said that angels are there to help us all the time, and we forget to ask.
Discover on-demand videos and docuseries, explore a full schedule of daily life classes, and become part of an incredible community. At Sounds True One, we invite you inward to find your way your way.